Her wicked stepmother daughters tormented her, but were shocked by what happened next. One fateful afternoon, Chesiechi found herself trapped in a dangerous situation orchestrated by her malicious stepfamily. They had concocted a wicked plan to send Chesiechi deep into the evil forest, far from the safety of the village. Unaware of the treachery that awaited her, Chesiechi ventured into the dense evil forest, her heart heavy with the weight of her troubles. But as she wandered deeper into the forest, the sounds of the village faded into the distance, leaving her alone and vulnerable in the wilderness. Once upon a time, in the heart of a small village located near the lush green hills, there lived a girl named Chesiechi. She was the kind of girl who made the sun linger a little longer in the sky just to catch a glimpse of her radiance. With eyes like pools of honey and a smile that could melt the hardest heart, Chesiechi was the epitome of beauty. From the moment she could walk, Chesiechi captivated the hearts of everyone around her. The villagers would often gather just to catch a glimpse of her graceful movements as she danced through the meadows, her laughter echoing like music in the breeze. But among all the adoration, there was hidden jealousy. Chesiechi's stepmother, Komaya, watched with envy as the villagers showered her stepdaughter with affection. Komaya was a woman whose heart was as cold as the winter winds that swept through the village. She had two daughters of her own, but their plain looks and sour dispositions paled in comparison to Chesh's beauty and kindness. Komaya's envy grew like a poison, twisting her thoughts and filling her with bitterness. She couldn't stand to see Chesiechi surrounded by the love and admiration of the villagers while her own daughters were overlooked and ignored. As the days passed, Komaya's resentment grew, casting an evil shadow over the once happy household. She began to create a wicked plan to tarnish Chesiechi's reputation and diminish her beauty in the eyes of the villagers. But no matter what she tried, Chesiechi's light only seemed to shine brighter, leaving Komaya filled with frustration. And so, in the quiet corners of the village, whispers began to spread of the beautiful girl and her jealous stepmother, setting the stage for a story of love, envy, and the resilience of the human spirit. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to be the first to experience the thrill of our next story. As the days rolled by in the quiet village, Komaya's envy towards Chesiechi grew like a wild, unruly weed in her heart. She couldn't bear to see Chesiechi's face shining with happiness, her laughter ringing through the air like the sweetest melody. It ate away at Komaya like a persistent itch she couldn't scratch. Every time Chesiechi received a compliment from a villager or a gift from a passing traveler, Komaya's jealousy burned hotter, fueling her determination to bring Chesiechi down from her pedestal of adoration. Komaya's mind twisted with dark evil thoughts and came up with schemes to destroy Chesiechi's life and rob her of the love and admiration she so effortlessly garnered. She would spread rumors of Chesiechi's supposed arrogance and vanity, whispering poison into the ears of anyone who would listen. But Komaya's malice didn't stop there. Oh no, she was far more cunning than that. She would strategically place Chesiechi in situations where she would fail or embarrass herself, hoping to chip away at the pedestal the villagers had placed her upon. And yet, despite Komaya's best efforts, Chesiechi remained blissfully unaware of her stepmother's true intentions. She continued to dance through the meadows, her heart full of innocence and her spirit unbroken by the shadows that lurked around her. Little did Chesiechi know, the seeds of envy had been sown deep within her home, and they would soon sprout into a tangled web of deceit and betrayal that threatened to engulf them all. But for now, the sun continued to shine on the village, casting its golden glow over Chesiechi's world of blissful ignorance. As the days passed, Komaya's envy twisted into a dark obsession, consuming her every thought and action. Alongside her daughters, she plotted and schemed, weaving a web of deceit to trap Chesiechi in a world of misery. Together, Komaya and her daughters devised cruel schemes to undermine Chesiechi's happiness. They would sabotage her chores, causing her to be scolded by their father for mistakes she didn't make. They would hide her belongings, leaving Chesiechi searching frantically while they laughed behind her back. But the cruelty didn't stop there. Komaya and her daughters would taunt Chesiechi with cruel words, mocking her kindness and belittling her beauty. They would steal her food, leaving her hungry and weak, all the while pretending innocence when their father questioned them. As the mistreatment escalated, Chesiechi, once bright spirit, began to dim. She would retreat to the quiet corners of the village, seeking solace in the embrace of nature, away from the venomous words and spiteful glares of her stepfamily. The villagers began to notice the change in Chesiechi's demeanor, the sadness that clouded her eyes and the weariness that weighed heavy on her shoulders. They whispered amongst themselves, wondering what could have caused such a shift in the girl who had once been the very essence of joy and light. But despite their concerns, none dared to intervene, for they knew not the depth of the darkness that hid within Chesh's home. And so, they watched helplessly as Chesh's world crumbled around her, unaware of the insidious plot that had been woven by those closest to her. And as the days turned into weeks, the once happy village found itself covered in a cloud of uncertainty and fear, for they knew not what horrors awaited Chesiechi behind closed doors, nor how far Komaya and her daughters would go to ensure her downfall. One fateful afternoon, Chesiechi found herself trapped in a dangerous situation orchestrated by her malicious stepfamily. They had concocted a wicked plan to send Chesiechi deep into the evil forest, far from the safety of the village. Unaware of the treachery that awaited her, Chesiechi ventured into the dense evil forest, her heart heavy with the weight of her troubles. But as she wandered deeper into the forest, the sounds of the village faded into the distance, leaving her alone and vulnerable in the wilderness. Suddenly, from out of the shadows emerged a figure covered in riches and mystery. His presence sent a shiver down Chesiechi's spine, but there was something in his eyes, a kindness and compassion that pierced through the darkness like a ray of light. With strong determination, the mysterious man intervened, his strong arms pulling Chesiechi away from the danger that hid in the shadows. He shielded her from harm, his voice calm and reassuring as he led her to safety. At first, Chesiechi could not believe her luck. Here was a stranger, a man of wealth and privilege, risking his own safety to rescue her from the clutches of danger. Gratitude filled within her heart, overwhelming her with a sense of relief and wonder. As they emerged from the depths of the forest, Chesiechi turned to her unexpected savior, her eyes filled with tears of gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "I don't know how to repay you for your kindness." But the mysterious man simply smiled, his gaze softening with understanding. "There is no need for repayment, dear Chesiechi," he said gently. "For in rescuing you, I have received a gift far greater than any treasure, the knowledge that I have helped someone in need." And as they walked together towards the safety of the village, Chesiechi couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope flicker within her heart. For in the darkest of moments, she had found an unexpected ally, a beacon of light within the shadows that threatened to consume her world. With the mysterious wealthy man by her side, Chesiechi found herself enveloped in a newfound sense of safety and protection. He took her under his wing, offering her refuge from the storm of cruelty that raged within her own home. In the comfort of his lavish estate, Chesiechi found solace in the kindness of her unexpected benefactor. He treated her with warmth and respect, offering her a sanctuary where she could heal the wounds inflicted upon her by her jealous stepfamily. The days passed in a blur of tranquility and contentment as Chesiechi relaxing in the warmth of her newfound refuge. She explored her new environment. She marveled at the beauty that surrounded her and the generosity of the man who had taken her in. But amidst the luxury and comfort, Chesiechi never forgot the village she had left behind, nor the family that had once been her own. Her heart ached with longing for the familiar faces and the simple joys of her childhood home. And yet, she knew that returning to the village would mean facing the anger of her stepfamily once more. The thought sent a shiver down her spine, but she also knew that she could not hide away in the safety of the estate forever. With a determined resolve, Chesiechi vowed to reclaim her place in the village, to face whatever trials awaited her with courage and strength. For she knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would always carry with her the kindness and compassion that had been bestowed upon her by the mysterious man who had rescued her from the darkness. If you haven't subscribed, share this insightful video. Let's reach 1,000 subscribers together and keep our Africa folktale adventure going. As Chesiechi found refuge in the wealthy man's estate, the consequences of Komaya and her daughter's malicious actions began to unfold. The villagers, once blind to the cruelty that festered within Chesiechi's home, could no longer ignore the truth. Word spread like wildfire through the village, carrying stories of Komaya's jealousy and her daughter's cruelty. The villagers, outraged by their behavior, shunned them from their midst, leaving them isolated and alone. Komaya and her daughters, once held in high regard, now found themselves cast out from the community they had once been a part of. They faced the harsh reality of their actions, forced to confront the consequences of their envy and spite. Meanwhile, Acheche began to adjust to her new life, finding strength and resilience within herself that she never knew she possessed. With the support of the wealthy man and the kindness of the villagers, she began to rebuild her shattered confidence and reclaim her sense of self-worth. She threw herself into her work, lending a helping hand wherever it was needed and earning the respect and admiration of those around her. With each passing day, Chesiechi grew stronger, her spirit shining brighter than ever before. And though the wounds inflicted upon her by her stepfamily may never fully heal, Chesiechi found solace in the knowledge that she was no longer alone. Surrounded by friends who cherished her for who she truly was, she embraced her newfound freedom with a heart full of hope and a spirit that refused to be broken. As Chesiechi continued to flourish under the care and guidance of the wealthy man, her spirit blossomed like a flower in the warm embrace of spring. With each passing day, she grew stronger and more resilient, her once dimmed light shining brighter than ever before. Surrounded by the love and support of those who cherished her, Chesiechi found herself rising above the adversity that had once threatened to consume her. No longer shackled by the chains of her stepfamily's cruelty, she embraced her newfound freedom with a sense of joy and gratitude that filled her heart to overflowing. Meanwhile, Komaya's envy and malice faded into obscurity, overshadowed by Chesiechi's radiant happiness and success. No longer the center of attention, Komaya and her daughters languished in the shadows, their bitterness consuming them like a poison they could not escape. But Chesiechi paid them no mind, for she had learned to look within herself for validation and strength. She embraced her inner beauty and resilience, finding empowerment in her journey of self-discovery. With a smile that could light up the darkest night and a heart that overflowed with kindness and compassion, Chesiechi became a beacon of hope and inspiration to all who knew her. She danced through the meadows with a newfound sense of purpose, her laughter ringing out like a symphony of joy. And as she looked towards the horizon, Chesiechi knew that her journey was far from over. But with the love of her newfound family and the unshakable belief in herself, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that she had the strength to overcome them all. If you're hungry for more intriguing stories, check out our next video. Click here.